The article Xenophobia Runs the World, published on Al Jazeera News website, argues that hostility toward migrants and asylum seekers has become a dominant and normalized governing strategy across numerous countries, driven by political convenience and the scapegoating of foreigners for complex domestic problems. The piece opens with the example of former U.S. President Donald Trump, whose inflammatory rhetoric against Somali migrants exemplifies how anti-immigrant sentiment has been mainstreamed into a governing principle in American politics. However, the author contends this phenomenon is not confined to the U.S., but is a pervasive global trend. In Europe, Denmark is highlighted as a nation that, despite its progressive image, has adopted some of the continent's most restrictive immigration and asylum policies, with Islamophobic rhetoric featuring prominently in elections. The United Kingdom's Labour government, under Prime Minister Keir Starmer, is depicted as hardening its stance, explicitly studying Denmark's regime and promising to drastically reduce migration. The analysis extends to North Africa, detailing how European Union policies have effectively outsourced border control to Libya, financing Coast Guard units despite well-documented systemic abuses, including torture, rape, and arbitrary detention, against migrants. In Tunisia, President Kais Saied's 2023 speech alleging a criminal plan to alter the country's demography triggered violent mob attacks and police targeting of black African migrants. Post-apartheid South Africa is presented as a long-standing case study, where xenophobic violence is chronic. Data from XenoWatch records over 1,200 incidents since 1994, including killings and lootings, with peaks in 2008 and again in 2025. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the government systematically excluded migrants from relief programs and reinforced harmful stereotypes. This environment has fostered explicitly anti-immigrant movements like Put South Africans First and the vigilante group Operation Dudula, which advocates for mass deportations and blocks migrants from essential services. The author notes similar patterns elsewhere. Restrictive measures against Venezuelan migrants in several Latin American countries and the expulsion of ethnic Bengali Muslims from India. The conclusion is that xenophobia is now woven into the political life of countries across the globe, transcending region or ideology. Failed policies. The final section examines the root cause, arguing that xenophobic narratives are politically convenient. They allow governments to externalize domestic failures, offering simplistic explanations for deeply rooted issues like economic mismanagement, austerity, and inequality, thereby deflecting blame from structural problems onto the arrival of strangers. The article posits that this scapegoating mechanism explains the widespread adoption and persistence of anti-migrant policies worldwide.